right away, but then this popped up in my feed.
Uh-oh.
Food Shop's talking to Ryan Getty about Pisco, Hutch, and Destiny. What's going on here? What's going on here, guys?
I think my problem, or my perception of one of the problems that a lot of liberals have, is that there's not a
He watches your video.
great connection to fundamental
That's so
values
cute.
or principles.
Also, it made it onto his feed. Good job.
Or a vision of like a better world anymore. I think a lot of liberals have come to the conclusion, or came to the conclusion at some point, that their job is a fundamentally somewhat conservative, tepid maintenance of a status quo that isn't really pleasing anybody. I used Ezra Klein as the example of
Yeah,
this kind
you're
of person.
upcoming.
He's asked by
Good
Rostow
job.
that, what is the vision of a good life that you're trying to aim us towards? And Ezra Klein says, I'm a liberal, to kind of dismiss that kind of question as if we can excuse ourselves from having to answer questions of meaning or belief or purpose in life just because we think that the government shouldn't be telling you everything that you're supposed to be doing.
When conservatives were demanding liberals to denounce the violence on Charlie Kirk, and from the left, Destiny was the one that stepped forward.
Oh no. How will Hutch react to this part? No, but he doesn't, right? He doesn't react to this part, I think. Otherwise, people would have told me.
And said, no, I don't think we should denounce it until the Republicans
Oh,
have denounced it
no.
first. Until the Republicans have demanded that Trump denounce it first, because he has the loudest voice, he can lower the temperature the most. I don't think the liberals should ever denounce it.
I think that just comes off as really bitter. I feel like I can imagine the reaction to that from probably his
That's what I said.
fans were
Man, fuck off.
like, oh, based. Like, I feel like that just comes off as like bitter to me, though. I'm not really sure.
That's almost exactly what I said. I said he was in his fifis. Jay Greaves! Oh my fucking god, Jay.
Oh my god.
Do you want me to show you my nipple? What do you want? I feel like I need to earn it. 20 gifted memberships on YouTube. I'll take my, I'll do it. I'll take my nipples
Lame.
out. I don't care. I don't care. I don't fucking care, bro. I'll take it out. I don't give a fuck. I'll take my fucking nipples out. Okay. The debate was Food Shops trying to argue for Destiny's positions without knowing Destiny's justification for those positions. It was kind of cringe. Oh, okay. All right. Well.
I'm sure that comes off as like tit for tat, frankly. I think
Or is it my own justifications? Does it have to be Destiny's justifications?
that just comes off as kind of bitter.
I discovered you only through Live and Learn-ish, like when
Oh, yeah?
people like Hutch, Pisco, and all the other Live and Learn content creators were covering you. But it seems like you've been doing videos for quite a while. Like, when did you start content creation?
Yeah, I really like Ryan Getty's stuff, man. I really enjoyed his appearance on the podcast. And also, I don't fully agree with him, but I still really enjoy listening to him talk and
Wait, what does he disagree with him
listening
on?
to his ideas.
Good evening, hello.
He seems to reject the notion that liberalism is sufficiently a virtue.
It was a really good talk, and a really good debate as well. It's a fun debate, and it was a fun talk. I genuinely enjoyed it. Each followers can be only recruited or invoked once? What? What do you mean invoked? Each follower can no longer be moved. Oh, I can't move it anymore. What? Oh, that's crazy. Okay, it's okay. I'll figure it out. Wow. All enemies will have -1 health. Oh, okay. I'd love to see you have more like this. Well, I mean, I invited him to come on the day afterwards, but then he was at a New Year's party. And I was like, fuck your New Year's party. Come in.
unto itself. Like, it's not liberalism and creating a system where people have individual liberty to pursue their own self-actualization and sort of thing. Like, that's not enough for him. He thinks that liberalism needs to push for even more. That liberalism needs to have higher standards. We should include things like the pursuit of knowledge as a virtue that is a essential component of liberalism, for example. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I just really enjoyed listening to his videos. I thought his insight was great.
Yeah.
Ian, thanks so much for the tier 1 membership. Appreciate you, buddy.
Like, when did you start doing it? What got you into it? You know, who are you inspired by?
Oh god, I can't listen to myself. I can't do it. Okay, sorry. I can't do it. I'm glad because I was at a party too. Okay. I was like, apparently today he's still at a party. I was like, come on. And he's like, I'm still at a party. And I'm like, what? Bro. How?
I'm going to do the narcissistic thing and
What do you
scroll
mean?
through
What you mean?
when my name is mentioned. Okay.
Then the factual quality wait, what? Of it, or
Okay,
that there
alright,
is some
cool.
in the background. Because when I
Oh no. I don't mention you all that much. I'm not gonna fucking smack talk you in front of Ryan, dude. Like I could smack talk you. I could smack talk you, but I'm not gonna fucking smack talk you in front of Ryan.
Yeah, because I
not
began to think
happening.
about that more. Because I'm trying to theorize, like, why is it that we just never lived off the ground? It's just that I think we're just boring. You know,
Could be.
I think liberal commentators. Because when I
Oh, I did smack talk him. Never mind.
commentators, liberal commentators, I'm like, these guys are a bunch of book virgins. Okay, these guys open
Yes. Oh my God, she is spitting.
a book,
Okay.
and all they want is to read, and listen to things in the background and not absorb any information while they're playing a video game. Okay, look,
Yep.
all right, you have to be dramatic. Okay, every single time you tune to Candace Owens,
I did not just get called out by myself. I just got called out by Food Shops. Oh my God. I agree with Ryan that liberals need to figure out to what end question. It can't just be status quo. Sure. I
You
agree.
know that there is some fucking bonkers shit that is about to say, okay? The entertainment quality is more important than the factual quality of it or the integrity of the show. And I think that when I see, like, if you look at all these popular conservative content creators, I'm like, wow, these people are actually immensely entertaining. But then I look at, okay, no offense, okay, listen, you don't have to comment on this. Do not comment on this, okay?
Okay.
I look at Hutch, all right? Right? And then I look at Pisco, and I look at Ezra Klein, and I can't help but feel that my eyes are closing. You know, my eyelids are slowly drooping down, and the curtain is falling on my day.
That's fair. That's fair. Fair. I think they're bitter. Personally, I think they're bitter because
I'm
we
not
had a debate
bitter.
recently.
Oh, come
Actually, it was
on.
like 2 months ago.
Okay, that's what I feel as though is happening.
No! Okay. Dude, I don't hold anything against anyone, all right? Yeah, like, I'll remember debates and I'll make fun of you for it, but, like, I don't actually hold a grudge like that. What the fuck? That's so petty. All right, projection,
You know,
projection
Ezra Klein
alert.
stuff is interesting because it's definitely not designed for it's not mass audience content. Even just looking at the guests that he has, you know, they're not always, I mean, sometimes he does get some kind of mass appeal guests, but like, for instance, a recent video I made was talking about national conservatism, and a lot of the footage that I was reacting to came from an interview that Ezra Klein had with Yoram Hazony, who is a big national conservative, kind of the godfather of that ideology, I guess is what I would say. And, you know, that's very interesting, and that's a very valuable conversation for someone in Ezra Klein's
fucked up
position to
this
have,
round.
I think. But
right, he does a different kind of
also not
content,
mass
right?
appeal.
Sorry, Ezra Klein is not the right example to compare because he is like generally
That's BS. That's a substantive criticism. They know they are more boring than right-wing big creators. No, it was a legitimate criticism. Yeah. And I don't want people to take it otherwise. I really don't. I want people to take that criticism seriously. I want people to take that. Okay, you realize entertainment is a skill, right? Like it's not something that's inherent to your personality. You can have a very entertaining personality, and then you don't have to put as much work, right? You don't have to put as much work, right? You don't have to do that. However, that's a real critique. Okay, I'm not trying. I'm not just trying to put it in a funny way. I put it in a funny way. But I was being serious about being entertaining as a content creator. Okay. At the end of the day, the reason why people watch you is because you're entertaining. It has nothing to do with how much you know. If they actually wanted to just find out what they want to know, they would be listening to an audiobook or they would be reading Wikipedia. They're watching you because you are the deliverer, because they could do something while you're in the background. But to some degree, you have to not be boring, right? You have to be ADHD friendly. Yeah?
more of a podcast.
Since we basically all have ADHD in this space. Yeah. Because everybody who has ADHD automatically gravitate towards the online political space. Everybody who doesn't have ADHD automatically gravitates towards touching grass. Okay, so
Bro,
there you
right?
go.
Like he's a liberal podcast bro. He's a liberal podcast bro. He's a liberal podcast bro. Okay. However, if I look at somebody like Josiah, right, pondering politics, right, I think that as much as I like Josiah and as great as I think his blow up was, right, adding a new liberal voice into the mix, I think that we just need a little bit of drama, you know, dramatic flair. All right, not actual drama, not actual drama. All right, like as in everybody's tearing each other apart. Okay, I mean like at least take some acting lessons, you know, at least like learn how to talk in IM.
I'm not sure if you people are aware, but I got highest honors in my drama class in.
Well, I mean, how long ago was that? Like what, 50 years ago?
My senior year of high school. Okay.
Okay, high school. Yeah, that's nothing. I'm sure he's joking. Okay,
Highest honors means the highest honors. There was
my God,
nobody
please.
above me.
Oh,
Literally
yeah, okay.
unsurpassed
Oh my
by any
Lord.
mortal human in the same class as me.
Okay, you can't deny that when you're watching, me, right? I'm just so much more animated. I can make witty like quips and jokes and shit like that, right? I don't know. I'd like to think that I'm clever to some degree, right? In terms of thinking of different shit, right? But
I was the best.
what can you
So
do?
let's just get that straight.
big pentameter, you know.
Okay, but what happened? You just like what? You got lazy or like?
No, like you need to be able inflect
And act like
every
it.
other syllable, so then you
Yeah.
are enunciating as if you're speaking as a character on the stage.
So it's like what? You're trying to be boring on purpose, right? Like, what's the thing here, right?
Enunciating. Hang on a minute.
I just like, that's wrong. Utah has like 400. 400.
This is very internet brain. Obviously. I don't know if
Wait, what? What do you say?
let's just get that straight.
Iambic pentameter, you know? Like you need to be able inflect every other syllable, so then you are enunciating as if you're speaking as a character on the stage.
Enunciating. Hang on a minute.
I just like, that's wrong. Utah has like 400. 400.
This is very internet brained, obviously.
Motherfucker. Even the most. I hate whenever he says this. I hate it whenever he says this. Every single fucking blue collar worker these days, the most grass touching blue collar worker are all internet brained, okay? The USPS worker that I was shadowing under before I joined USPS, he was making AI videos, okay? He was making AI videos for fun to share with his friends, and he was listening to podcasts on podcasts while he was delivering mail. Motherfucker, this is the norm now. The normie is internet brain. I'm sorry. The normie is making posts on Facebook and they are addicted to doom scrolling. Whether or not they're conservative or liberal. This is not, you need to learn that now these days, this is what people are doing, okay? This is what people are doing. You are delusional. You're delusional. Every single time I hear about you think that blue collar workers these days are completely out of the loop right now? That you think that they are not listening to anything? You think that they are just not in tune with politics? Are you actually serious? Like the grass touchers? They're like the retail worker. You think that they don't care about any conspiracy or they believe in any populist messaging or anything like that? Yes, they are an audience you have to capture. If you want to argue, okay, listen. If you want to argue for appealing to the moderates, that's fine, okay? But it seems like you don't give a fuck about them either, right? These are the people that you say that you want to attract, but you're not putting in the effort, nor do you want to argue for putting in the effort to attract them. Of course, I'm not going to take your argument seriously. I'm sorry. But anyway, again, I'm not trying to bash Hutch too much. I'm just saying this is a delusional take. But anyway, whatever.
I don't know if I'm super into this part of the discussion. They talk about the filibuster a bit here.
No.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Republicans had the votes at any point in the filibuster. The filibuster is a Senate rule, and it would take only 51 votes to get rid of it. They could have ended the shutdown
He had a fucking correct ass take on this, okay? Thank God. Okay.
at any time, but they're so attached to this procedural rule.
They're probably saving the filibuster in the future when Democrats are back in power and they need to block some shit again.
They shouldn't, because I think Democrats should get rid of it as soon as they're back in power. The filibuster is a ridiculous thing, and it's.
What I heard, see, it's interesting you brought up the filibuster because I actually heard a debate between Josiah and Hutch. They were talking about whether or not they should get rid of the filibuster, and one of the things they talked about was, well, the filibuster seems to be being shaped.
So just to be clear, it's been a minute since I had that conversation with Josiah, but my position was that the Democrats should not run on getting rid of the filibuster. That was my whole thing. And I think the logic to that is
okay, they shouldn't run on getting rid of the filibuster, but Hutch does support getting rid of the filibuster, right? Like they should do it secretly, I think.
pretty obvious. Swanee Bird with $2 sounds like food shops just doesn't like live and learn. It's been.
Yeah, no shit. Of course I don't like it. It's boring.
We've had a few spicy episodes, you know. Like I'm glad that IRI came on because he's a bit of a counterbalance as well, you know. I feel like IRI is a bit more like eager to get into the weeds with Pisco than I am on these podcasts. Like he
Bro, I'm sorry, okay? You have to put in some work to appeal to different people. I don't know what to say, all right? This is just how things work.
I think he was a little bit like shy the first couple episodes, but in like the last 3 or 4 episodes, he's like directly confronting Pisco like 3 or 4 times every single podcast. So that's been fun. I think I definitely think that there needs to be conflict on the podcast. Like it can't just be a circle jerk.
Yes. Okay, good.
It can't just be like 4 dudes agreeing on everything. That's just not really
Yeah,
interesting to watch, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
And the episodes of Live and Learn that kind of blow up the most are the ones with the most conflict. So like I understand what she's talking about when she said when she
Yes.
says that liberalism needs to put a little pepper on itself in
Yes.
these kinds of things.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
And yeah, I kind of forgot my train of thought.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, I'm glad you understand that, like, the drama episodes get the most views, and, like, it gets all the Destiny reactions, right? By the way, Destiny reacting to your podcast is a net positive. It's not net negative, it's a net positive, okay? The more people want to react to your podcast, the better, okay? That's just how it works.
There, guys.
Right.
I lost the thread in mid-sentence.
Shaved off the edges constantly, right? Like they seem to be shaving the filibuster, making exceptions constantly for it over the years.
Okay, wait, no, hold on, hang on. I was talking, so, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but I had a conversation with Pondering, and we were talking about the filibuster, and I was saying that they should not run on getting rid of it, right? I don't even remember what argument I had with Pondering, because I thought that was about expanding the Supreme Court, actually. I don't even remember having a debate with Josiah about the filibuster.
So if that's going to be the end result, right? And if you're making exceptions whenever the Republicans want something to get passed, but you're not really making all the exceptions in the world whenever like Democrats want something to get passed, maybe it isn't really playing out.
Hang on, sorry.
Shaved off the edges constantly, right? Like they seem to be shaving the filibuster, making exceptions constantly for it over the years. So if that's going to be the end result, right? And if you're making exceptions whenever the Republicans want something to get passed, but you're not really making all the exceptions in the world whenever like Democrats want something to get passed, maybe it isn't really playing out for us, right? So you might as well rip off the Band-Aid. And again, I agree with Josiah more on this in the sense that I think it'd be best to get rid of it, rip off the Band-Aid, make sure it's not weaponized against us in the future, make sure it's a clean battle, right?
Wait, I said I was in favor of getting rid of the filibuster. I just said it was like a difficult choice. It's like 60-40. It's not 100% in the tank. It's just a difficult.
You can I actually disagree, actually. Never mind. I thought I misunderstood Hutch's position, but now that I think about it, I think I actually disagreed. Because 60-40, you can push on the 60-40. You can push for it on the 60-40, right? If 60%, wait, hold on. Is it 60% pro removing the filibuster, or is it 60% against removing it, right?
Choice, and there's going to be trade-offs, 100%.
It is cool that Hutch doesn't do the food shops boycott stuff, to be honest. No, it's good. Yeah. I'm glad I'm not being treated too much like Voldemort. Oh, well, but it's only because I talk with Ryan Getty, right? Like normally he doesn't react to my content. So okay, all right, yeah. I think it might be like that. But.
And I think that sure messaging is important, but and I understand Hutch's concern with how the Republicans may be inspired to move against us once we start messaging for that. But I feel as though they are.
Okay. So I do argue for messaging. Okay. I'm trying to 60-40 towards. Oh, so like 60 in favor. Wait, are you serious? That's something you can definitely push. Wait. Wait, am I delusional? Wait, can't you push for a 60? Can't you push on a 60? Okay,
Ready to do all these things.
That's
I don't
fine.
think that
No,
I don't care
I
anymore.
mean, obviously not. I mean, they if that was true, they would have gotten rid of the filibuster because they have the numbers to get rid of the filibuster right now. Like if that,
Because they want to weaponize it against the Democrats in the future by appealing to norms and rules, right? That's why. Because they want to take advantage of how Democrats love using the high ground in order to appeal to norms and rules in the future when the Democrats next take power after Trump, right? Because they probably anticipate Trump having a big, like, fucking loss or some shit, like the Trump side having a big fucking loss, and a Democrat is in power, and that is when they get to continue appealing to the filibuster, right? If you get rid of the filibuster now to pass what you want to pass, then therefore, you can't use it against the Democrats in the future, right?
that was true, I mean, like this logic drives me insane. It's like, oh, you're afraid that you're going to provoke the Republicans into doing something. Well, they're just going to do it anyways. It's like, well, they can do it right now. They could get rid of the filibuster right now and, pass some like abortion restrictions and, like.
There's always a reason. There's always a reason for what they do. Republicans are so smart when it comes to that. And honestly, I admire them in that specific context. They are quite good at what they do.
Like draconian immigration reform, and they could do that right now, and they're not. But if the Democrats tomorrow start saying, we are going to get rid of the filibuster, as soon as you give us a trifecta, we're going to do that, then the Republicans are just obviously in this moment going to be like, well, okay. And then that gives them cover at the same time. Like, that gives them political cover. The most ideal situation, if the filibuster was going to be removed, is if the Republicans do it all on their own. And then by the time, and if they do it right now, when they don't have a ton of political capital and it doesn't look like they're going to pass anything meaningful in the next year, if they did it right now, they would get very little value out of getting rid of the filibuster. Whereas the Democrats would walk into a situation where it doesn't exist. And they can.
Republicans win messaging on their government is a do-nothing thing, so gridlock is to their advantage. Well, yeah, they're conservatives, right? Yeah. Well, no, it's even worse than that. They want to go back.
And just hit the ground
Right.
running. So that would be
Yeah.
ideal. But running on it and provoking them to do it now is probably not the best move.
Anyone
down
should
the line,
message on
right?
it. I don't think that anyone's
Sorry, yeah, I mean-
campaigning on.
Getting rid of the filibuster will have horrible effect of election outcomes correlating with policy enacted. I just don't
This is a very unfortunate frame to pause on.
like. How come every other democracy in the world basically exists without a filibuster? Why is it so essential in the United States?
I understand why. It's because it's to make sure that Congress is able to work together and reach across the aisle, right? It's to make sure that people are able to compromise on deals. But that works only in an ideal environment, right? We don't live in an ideal environment anymore. Right now, there is double standards that is slowly killing the United States. Whenever the Republicans want something to get passed, my guess is that they'll try to create an exception for it around the filibuster, right? How else had the big beautiful bill pass, right? Like normally, I feel like if you want the absolute filibuster rule, then I think that the 60% should apply to literally everything that's passed in Congress. I think that should apply to literally everything. There should be no exceptions for that if you're going to have the filibuster, right? But no, you have a budget bill that passed like 50, right? Because it's one of the exceptions that's like listed, right? That is free of the filibuster. That's not fair. That's just not fair, right?
Can you explain that to me? Is there something that is so exceptionally unique about the United States where we need something like a filibuster? I don't really understand. It's just, I would like for government to do big things. There's two sides of that coin. So Democrats could get a trifecta in a few years and do a public option or some such, which I think would be a really good policy. And I'd be really happy about that. But then maybe 4 years
But to say it's unique to the US, well, I mean, every single fucking government has its own unique shit, right? And it's fine for the United States to be unique, okay? That's fine because we have always been unique. We have always been a melting pot, right? Like, that's what makes us great. But just be careful, okay? Jesus.
later or 8 years later, Republicans get a trifecta, and then, you know, they do big stuff that they couldn't do right now were it not for the filibuster. They could do right now were it not for the filibuster. You know, so it would be a double-edged sword, but I'm willing to cast.
Is it me, or is the sound of this like roguelike game so addicting? Like when it starts like click-clacking, and I'm like, this makes my brain go woohoo.
Cast that die.
That's what
I'm
I
willing to
feel
throw
about
those
it.
die.
Okay.
Because I think these better
Oh,
outcomes
yeah.
they're going to be increasingly more difficult as hyperpolarization becomes worse and worse in this country. Just the gridlock that we face for the next, I don't even know, 10 to 20 years. It's really difficult to imagine either party getting a 60-seat majority in the next 10 or 20 years.
Well, that's a problem, right? Like from my perspective, that's a problem. I don't think that's something that's good. I think that's something that's bad. Okay. The country barely changing within that time to adapt to different scenarios and to shape different outcomes is a bad thing, not a good thing. Yeah.
Really difficult to imagine that because just things are they're crystallizing, it seems. It's going to
That's
be
not
really
good.
difficult to break that
That's not
gridlock.
good.
And the gridlock benefits Republicans. Because the stuff that
Yep.
they want to do, they can do through budget reconciliation. They can do short-term
Yep.
tax cuts. They can just keep doing
Yep.
those over and over
Exactly.
and over again.
Yep.
The tax cuts are
Mhm.
basically like the only thing they really want to do with Congress in terms of policy. They don't seem super interested in very much of anything else. It's like if they can get their tax cuts, then they're happy. The Democrats, we want to do a lot of stuff. And Biden, for example, did a lot of stuff, but it was short-term. ARP, I thought, was a super pro-family, pro-working-class bill. The ARP was a phenomenal bill, and it could have been so much more. And it could have been so much more lasting and meaningful. Imagine if we could have made those child tax credits permanent with a simple
I find the sound mildly uneasy, like water droplets. Oh, I'm sorry.
majority. We would have saved families thousands of dollars every year, which is just, I mean, those outcomes to me are worth getting rid of the filibuster at this point. But again, I will concede. It's not like I'm 100% like, it's not like I don't
Hutch
think there's gonna be
concedes. I
announcements.
win.
There will be. It would be a big change.
Victory.
But I got to tell you guys, just realistically, I don't see it happening. I don't see either party getting rid of the filibuster anytime soon. There's just not nearly the kind of appetite that you would need for something like that to happen in either party. Neither party is seriously talking about doing it. I think it's like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's a cultural thing within the Senate. You know, they just like they see the senators see themselves as a bulwark, as a safeguard. Do I even know what a bulwark is? What is a bulwark?
Good.
A defensive
question.
wall. Yeah, okay. I intuitively understood what it meant. NVIDIA raising 5090s to 5,000 is lunacy. I mean, that's... It's supposed to be 2,000, you guys, but I can't find any that are lower than 3,500. Why is that? Why is like Best Buy selling 5090s for 3,500 when the MSRP is 2,000? No, I understand AI is
You guys just need to nerf the Senate. Yes, I think that the Senate probably does need nerfing. The Senate is like who even cares about the House anymore? Like I feel like all everybody ever talks about is like the fucking the Senate, right? The Senate this, the Senate that.
is completely fucking the supply side of things. I understand that.
Holder of place.
But the MSRP is still like technically on paper $2,000, but
Kaya,
major retailers, it's still everywhere. It's like 3,500 bucks. If I sold my 3080 Ti and my 4090, would that get me to 3,500? Maybe. I don't even know. It would get me pretty close. I do want a 5090. Oh, that would be nice. That would be nice.
Oh, like GPU? I have a 5090.
RP, the S stands for suggested. Oh, okay.
Want
I didn't
mine?
know that. Good to know. Okay.
Kidding. I'm not going to give it to you.
Once the Republicans get the gist, right? Once they get the gist of
Oh,
it.
sorry. Swanee Bird with $5. The problem with removing the filibuster is our two-party system. Other countries have multiple parties which protect it against tyranny of the majority.
True. Well,
I may be dumb, but I need that explained to me. Why does a parliamentary system, a multi-party system...
well, I mean, it can't completely prevent it, right? But it prevents enough. It is like the parliamentary system does like because in the United States, if it's a winner take all system, then the winner takes all, right? As long as you win, even by a slim margin, electorally, then the other party can just do some crazy ass shit, right? As the ruling party. But then when it comes to other countries, they have the parliament, which means power has to be divvied up. But then and then like different factions have to form coalitions with one another in order to get things passed. Different parties have to team up together against other parties and stuff. But they are different parties and they're still running against each other, which is like an effective way to divvy up power, right? Anyway, why not just get rid of the Senate then? It sounds like Dems just want to make it another house. You don't have to get rid of the Senate. It probably just has to be like... I think we just need to combine several of the Midwestern states, okay? We just need to combine several of the Midwestern states into one, all right? We need to combine like half of the Midwestern states into one state. And then we can have the Senate stay, okay? Then I'm good. Then I'm Gucci, all right? There is no excuse having something like North Dakota and South Dakota being a thing, all right? What is the point? What is the point of having North Dakota and South Dakota? They are both fucking rectangles and nothing happens there. Everybody wants to leave, all right? At least Ohio has its own identity because Ohio is Ohio. But North and South Dakota? Motherfucker. Idaho, Minnesota, like Idaho and like fucking Wyoming or some shit. Or like, I forgot which state has Yellowstone Park. Half the state is Yellowstone Park. Half the... Motherfucker, okay? Like a third of the state is Yellowstone Park. You are embarrassing. There's nothing to your culture, all right? There's nothing there. Anyway, can we split California, West California, and East California? Yes, let's do that. California is the size of 5 states anyway. Just split it up like how the Fallout universe splits up the place.
Why is that inherently more protective of tyranny of the majority than...
Bridge built with Hutch? Oh, you must not be around when I was talking with Hutch.
a two-party system without a filibuster. My 1050 Ti is playing Red Dead 2, no problem. Yeah, but is it playing on epic settings and 144 hertz? Probably not. Saying a two-party system assumes everyone in a party will go along with tyrannic actions, which they aren't even doing now. That's a good point. 60 hertz, 60 frames. Red Dead 2 is incredible, man. Like, when did that game come out on PC again?
Can we just, like, get back to the content, please? Can you not like
And
okay.
then you
All right,
eliminate
let's
the
go.
filibuster and ensure that every American has access to healthcare.
You're right.
You should say we're gonna fix the Supreme Court, you know, and then you eliminate the filibuster and for the love of God, at the very least, install some sort of code of ethics for the Supreme Court so they can't be you know, basically taking bribes from people. You should say we're gonna rein in the president, and then you should break the filibuster and then tell the president, no, you actually can't just bomb random ships in the Caribbean. You should campaign on the things that you're gonna do after you eliminate the filibuster, and then you should kill it because it's a stupid procedural thing, especially in the way that it's existed since the 70s, where you don't even have to stand up and speak. You know, it's not even the old classic Mr. Smith goes to Washington thing anymore.
I just watched the Parks and Rec episode where Leslie Knope does a filibuster for like 24 hours, I think. God, that show is so good. I gotta say, I think pound for pound, guys, Parks and Rec, probably better than
Can we wow, now Parks and Rec. Wow, amazing. Yes.
Increase,
Whoa.
we've seen the power of the courts
Whoa.
increase.
Hey.
20 bird. I missed that for sorry, $2. Sounds like Food Shops just doesn't like live and learn. Yeah.
In principle, I think that
Yeah, but then I agree with you. I agree with you. And also, you know a lot more than I do on what is to be considered good messaging and like messaging planning and strategizing, right?
Oh my god, look at this humble queen, okay? She knows her place in this world, okay? She is a learner, okay? She is not a teller. She is a learner, all right? She knows that her place in this world is to acquire information, to know who has more knowledge, and to learn from them, okay? Don't ever paint me as somebody, okay, who is just, oh, you're just egotistical. You just want to know everything. It doesn't matter, okay?
However,
It doesn't
wouldn't you
matter.
think it's also true that the courts are also giving up a lot of power to the presidency as well when they passed?
For sure they are. For sure they are. But
Yeah.
it's coming. It's all coming at the expense of Congress. Congress, like for instance, since I mentioned the Venezuela thing, you know, Congress ultimately, at least according to the Constitution, is the branch that should have the power to make war, to declare war.
Right.
That has essentially been a power that has been removed from Congress, both because Congress itself has passed legislation that deprives itself of power, and because successive presidents and successive courts have reinforced that decision and refused to make Congress do their job.
Speedy Taco, my goodness, thank you so much for the tier 1 membership. That is a confusing TFP. What the fuck am I looking at? Is it a man with a beard? Is it an upside
Why not just make the house stronger? How do you do that?
down mustache?
But it's impossible for Congress to do their job, really, whenever you need 60 votes in the Senate to do anything of substance. And really, I mean, and this is more of a philosophical thing. I think Congress is the most representative branch of
I'm sorry, but equal branches is so version 1.0 parliamentarianism.
Congress should be the most represented, but the House should be more powerful than the Senate. That's what I think. Okay?
Is better. Congress should be the
Anyway.
most powerful branch of government. I mean,
Yes. 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 It should be. It should be. It should be. It should be. Oh,
Just a drink. A martini,
Hey.
shaken, not stirred.
ERM Sigma.
I would want to get into your reasoning because, like, yeah, my America brain just goes straight to co-equal being better. But,
government at any time in Congress.
no. One is representative of the population. The other is representative of land. Okay, of rocks. I don't think it's close. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I just don't think that. Yeah, I don't think that's a thing. It's just
All perspective, you know, the closest thing that we can get in American politics to all perspective.
I mean, the most powerful branch is the Supreme Court. I mean, it literally has the final say on certain things, but like, you know, it can't like, You might be right about that. You might be right. You might be right.
Perspectives being represented. You know, even the majority party, I mean, even the minority party in Congress still has seats on the committees, still has their voice heard to an extent. It's the most representative branch that we have. Whereas the presidency,
And it
only-
should, and it
yeah,
should.
yeah, only one half of the country, you know, sometimes even less than half of the country is being represented in the presidency at any given time, and the courts aren't representative at all. And so, just on the basis of Congress being the most representative body, I think it should be the most powerful branch. Or at least we should at least have a system that's actually co-equal. We always talk about the importance of having co-equal
think I
branches, but
fucked
we don't
up.
have
I mean-
co-equal branches anymore.
I mean, if we could push a button and change the world, you know, I would have a parliamentary government. Like, I mean, you can criticize parliamentary
Yeah, maybe
governments for a lot of things, but you know, if you really want to have representation be at the core of everything, yeah, I don't know. That's probably good, but now is already too late for us to change any of that, and nor will we ever
Well, I
get a
think
chance
just
to.
eliminating the filibuster would be a great step in that direction because I mean,
agree.
you actually enable Congress to do stuff. Whenever you need 60 votes in the Senate to do anything, I mean, it's just, I mean,
damn. This is such a this is such an intellectual conversation. Indeed.
it makes a mockery
I can
of
feel my brain
the
expanding.
idea of Congress being a body
The voice of the
with any
people,
will of- yeah,
the
yeah,
will of the
any-
people, right? So much for the will of the people. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. So let me move subjects a little bit. Okay. So by the way, how long do you have?
I can go for however long you want.
Okay.
I mean,
all right. I'll try to.
It was just so random because like I was getting, it was, I don't remember what night this was. This was like 7 or 8 months ago or something like that. I'm like laying down to go to bed, and oftentimes what I'll do is I'll pull out YouTube and I'll just kind of see what the algorithm pushes to me, and sometimes I'll line up content for the next day. I'll look for like juicy videos that I think would be interesting to react to. And I opened up YouTube app and I did the thing, and I went to the homepage, and boom, like right on my front page was a food shop stream.
Oh, this was the clip that I saw.
And my name was in the title, and
From an
I don't remember
anti-fan.
what the context was about. I think it was like a live and learn fight. I don't know what it was. We had like a lot of fights back then. I just decided, you know what? Fuck it. Let me like go over to my PC, and like I typed in their chat. I was like, hey, what's up? And then we had a conversation for like 30 minutes. You know, it was just like totally random. And then I started seeing food shops like talking to like a bunch of people. Like were they having
A bunch of people? Wait, who else have I talked to? Who else have I talked to?
those kinds of conversations before? Yeah, I was probably looking for drama slap.
Wow, okay.
But yeah, that's how that whole thing popped up. And then I had like
I feel like I've just been called a slur.
fucking dozens or hundreds of people in my replies that I think were like Destiny anti-fans that were making all kinds of wild claims about this person. I was like, wait, what is happening? Why is this happening?
At some point, I'll get tired. I'm sure.
Nice.
I'm happy to.
Okay,
Good
I
memes.
don't want to keep you up too much, okay? Because listen, I've got so many questions on my mind. I consider you to be the superior intellectual force in politics, okay?
I appreciate it. That's very
Yeah,
nice.
and
Has Ryan come out with a new video since the Ezra video?
you know,
Also, just so you know, like, just notice how even Hutch corroborates the way that the anti-fans move, right? The moment that Hutch talks to me, like, what happens, right? The anti-fans dogpile, the anti-fans brigade, and they say, oh, well, you shouldn't talk to food shops because food shops has X and Y, right? It's so classic how things work, doesn't it? It's so obvious the way that things work.
I think
Vishy with the gifted sub. Vishy, thank you. We're gonna watch the Zoran Mamdani speech as well, guys, after this.
a lot of these older boomer liberal content creators like Hutch, okay, they look up to you.
What the fuck, dude?
Okay.
Happy to
Okay.
chat.
I don't want to keep you up too much. Okay.
What did I do?
Because listen, I've got so many questions on my mind. I consider you to be the superior intellectual force in politics. Okay.
I appreciate it. That's very
Yeah,
nice.
and you know, I think a lot of these older boomer liberal content creators like Hutch, okay, they look up to you. Okay, because
I don't think so. I think if Hutch is looking up to me, he's got his eyes pointed in the wrong direction.
no,
he's much bigger. He's much bigger than that.
no, I value your opinion.
Physically, I'm probably much bigger than him. That's true. That's true. I'm a bit rotund in the middle. No, I definitely respect his intellect for sure. I definitely respect this guy's intellect.
Opinions more than Hutch's.
Okay.
I just want to make that clear. Right. So another thing is, I'm sure you agree that we have to appeal to the moderates in some degree. However, it seems as though in order to appeal to the moderates, you have to argue that, oh well, what if the left needs to be complacent? The left needs to be more complacent in their messaging, and they need to like denounce the violence. They need to do this and that, blah 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 blah, in order to gain the possible support of moderates. In my personal opinion, that is the wrong move to have, because moderates at this point, if you're still a moderate after more than 10 years of Trump, I think that you have not been paying attention. In addition to not paying attention, I think that you have an ego. You're an asshole. I don't like you. We're never gonna be friends. And I hope you rope. Okay.
How do you... I'm afraid that this is based. I'm afraid. Oh my god. I wish these liberal content creators would talk like me, okay? Oh my god, please. Just tell people to rope, please.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
That's, oh my god. I gotta replay that. Oh my god. I'm gonna you're gonna snip it, okay? Like my own farts, okay?
You have to argue that, oh well, what if the left needs to be
I definitely respect his intellect for sure. I definitely respect this guy's intellect.
more than Hutch's.
Okay.
I just want to make that clear. Right. So another thing is, I'm sure you agree that we have to appeal to the moderates in some degree. However, it seems as though in order to appeal to the moderates, you have to argue that, oh well, what if the left needs to be complacent? The left needs to be more complacent in their messaging, and they need to like denounce the violence. They need to do this and that, blah 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 blah, in order to gain the possible support of moderates. In my personal opinion, that is the wrong move to have, because moderates at this point, if you're still a moderate after more than 10 years of Trump, I think that you have not been paying attention. In addition to not paying attention, I think that you have an ego. You're an asshole. I don't like you. We're never gonna be friends, and I hope you rope. Okay.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah. This is just. I hear people say this all the time. I think I probably said it at various times too. I think I vaguely recall making similar claims, like there's no such thing as a moderate in the era of Trump. And
This
I was
is
just
the
factually wrong. I was just
way.
factually wrong. Like, it's just not. It's just not true. Like, I don't know. There's also, it's a bit of a nebulous phrase as well. You know, like
Not paying attention while he games on the second screen. Does he refer to me? Damn, bro.
what exactly is a moderate? Like, how are we defining these kinds of things? is a moderate distinct from a swing voter? Is a moderate someone who just has a mishmash of like policy preferences that are not strictly partisan? I think that is probably the most likely, or probably the best definition, and there's a lot of those kinds of people. There's a lot of people that are super pro-gun, but also like socially very liberal, but also,
I have one
maybe
health
don't want
left.
as much
It's
government
over on
spending and they
Coke,
care
I
about the
think.
deficit, but also they believe in reproductive rights. And,
shit.
like these people really do
Come on.
fucking exist.
Oh, whew,
Um,
okay.
This is just, I don't know, it's not a straw man, but
Thank God.
it's cope, I think. The idea that we shouldn't even concern ourselves a little bit with appealing to moderates, or candidates rather shouldn't
Because you're just gonna end up overthinking things too.
concern themselves with appealing to moderates because moderates don't exist. It's just cope to avoid the obvious fact that you, in most cases, or rather, let's be more specific. Let's be more precise. In contested areas, in contested districts and states, you cannot ignore moderates. Like in really competitive districts and states, running strictly
Sure,
partisan
I agree with that.
is probably not going to be the optimal move. These things are fluid, and certain things outside of politics that happen impact the electorate in ways. And so the electorate is never just like statically one thing. It's like a fluid, dynamic thing that changes over time. But a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people want to live in this reality where they can just hyper energize their base and that will like turn out a landslide. And it just doesn't work like that. Can anyone think of an election where that was the move? I mean, maybe you could go back to like FDR. I don't know. Like, when was the last president who ran as like Reagan, I suppose. Reagan. He was pretty hyperpartisan.
Back.
Wait.
Oh, I have no more core health. Yeah.
Well, now I'm thinking about it. But anyways, it's just, to me, it's just cope. It's just a way to avoid the responsibility of pivoting to the center in a general. Stone Dude, thank you so much for the tier 1 membership. Appreciate it, buddy. I mean, we saw Mamdani do it, man. We saw Mamdani moderate, tactically moderate. And that's in New York City. That's a D plus 22 city, I think. Wasn't 2024? It was D plus 22. And even he pivoted to the center rhetorically on a few things. His acceptance speech, or some of the clips, that sounded like fucking Vladimir Lenin. We're gonna watch that right after we're done listening to this section of the debate here. But
Wait, what?
Here's the thing about moderates.
So what is your
Wait,
opinion?
what's this about Lenin?
Here's the thing about like moderates.
That came out of
People
nowhere.
imagine moderate is almost like the wrong term to use for undecided voters because they aren't usually actually moderate. I wish I could remember off the top of my head.
But that's part of the problem, right? Yeah.
They have a lot of times what's more accurate to say.
what is like the standard definition of a political moderate? Political moderate definition.
The average God, wait, no, I should have made this argument. You should have argued that political moderate is I should have argued that a political moderate is actually an extremist. Oh my god, that is like one of the most basest opinions I've ever said. Oh my god. A political moderate is an extremist in a way. Sure, yeah.
I think it's going to be someone who has policy preferences that go in both directions. That's what I would guess that it means. Political moderate is defined as someone who occupies a centrist position on the political spectrum, avoiding extreme ideological stances. Moderates often seek balanced solutions and are willing to negotiate, draw from both liberal and conservative ideologies to find practical outcomes. They prioritize compromise and dialogue over extreme views, aiming for policies that address the needs of diverse constituents. Okay. I think that's essentially what I'm getting at, but yeah, like an emphasis on bipartisanship for bipartisanship's sake seems to be a feature of moderates. They see bipartisanship not necessarily as a political strategy, but rather a political ideal to strive towards. I think they emphasize cooperation and compromise. And if that's the definition we're going for, maybe a majority of the country are moderate. I feel like I've seen polls.
No, everybody would be moderate if that was the definition, which is why that's not a good definition.
Recently, where it's over 50% of the country want.
The reason why it sucks as a definition is because nobody ever uses this definition anymore. The way that people use, like, yeah, like, this is obviously stupid. Even hardcore Republicans are willing to compromise to some degree. Even hardcore Trumpers in the government are willing to compromise a little bit to some degree, right? That's why this doesn't really apply all that well. The definition, yeah, this is the definition people want, right? It's the prestige, it's the clout, that comes with that label, right? Whenever somebody says that they are a moderate, they like to think of themselves as like some kind of fucking Camp David negotiator or some shit, right? The peacemaker between Israel and Palestine, truly profound, right? They think of themselves as the highest of the high, right? Well, rope, because guess what? Guess what? The way that people use moderates these days is that it's like Joe Rogan using the word moderate. Oh, I'm just a moderate. It's the way that my dad uses the word moderate. Oh, I'm just a moderate. Well, my dad should rope, okay? Because guess what? All right, the way that people use moderate is so cucked. They just mean MAGA these days.
The parties to work together. The people, the yearning masses, they long for bipartisanship, especially the boomers. Maybe like millennials and younger, Gen X and younger, to a lesser extent, don't care as much about bipartisanship, but the boomers and the silent generation, they fucking crave that shit because they had it for...
No, but the reason why that doesn't work anymore, and the reason why we keep losing is because it is because the old ways have fucked us over, right? It's the old ways that has led us into this situation. You can't compromise with an extremist. You can't compromise with somebody that wants to grape, right? You can't just say, well, I want a half grape. What are you talking about? So you're okay with violating someone's consent halfway? How do you meet halfway between here and Hitler? How do you compromise with Hitler? How do you do it? It's not possible. How do you compromise with Stephen Miller? Like, do you just go up to him and say like, hey, I don't think you should be as extreme and maybe I could be a little bit on your side? No, there is no compromise. You can't do it because even a position in the middle, right? Even a compromised position in the middle is an extreme position because that's how extreme they are, right? We're not talking about like like you're, yeah, so stupid.
for
Whatever.
decades. Like they had it. Like bipartisanship was the norm in DC for decades. It was not like this. It was not like this before the 21st century. Like it was not. Like the parties cooperated all the time to get stuff done. Jankbert with 10 months. Thank you so much. Stone Dude, I think I already got you for the tier 1 membership.
About undecided voters is they're sort of ideologically incoherent. They don't pay much attention to politics. They don't think about politics all that much. They call themselves moderate because it's sort of received wisdom in American life that being moderate is like a good thing to be. You know, like people say like, oh
because,
yeah, like
because you're because you look like the person that looks at both sides and you can see the pluses of both sides and you're able to differentiate and you're able to feel superior. You get to talk to people. You get to go like, I'm actually a moderate. See, I see both sides for what they are. But the thing is that you have Dunning-Kruger. Okay, you are the.
There's also an optics angle to this, I think, because extremism has become so much more visible because of social media. So it used to be that
I was so unhinged. I will keep being unhinged, actually.
maybe
I think
lot
it's
of
a
people
good
in the country
idea.
were not exposed to people that had quote unquote extreme views, and it just wasn't something that they thought about very much. Now the most extreme views are promoted to the top of the algorithm. It provokes a lot of conflict. It provokes a lot of sensationalism. And people just naturally are turned off by it. And so I think there's like an appetite for moderation now that is increased because of these social media platforms, in my opinion.
Definition of Dunning-Kruger. Actually, no, this is literally the definition of Dunning-Kruger, right? Because
Master of Darkness says, I remember my parents were torn between Obama and McCain because they liked both of them for different reasons. But when McCain chose Sarah Palin as his VP, it made their choice a lot easier. That was not the case for my dad. That was not the case for my dad. He was not torn. Even a little bit in 2028. But no, I imagine your parents back then were not alone. I imagine there were a lot of people that felt the same way, that felt like they liked both of those candidates. Politics JK with the tier 1 membership. Thank you so much.
because of your lack of knowledge, you're unable to take a stance, and you think that your opinion is superior to everybody else who knows more, right? So this is
or they just
Dunning-Kruger,
think
literally,
politics
right?
isn't all that important, or they just don't think politics is all that important. You know, they're not interested. It stresses them out, so they don't consume much information about politics. I know a lot of people like that.
That's a lot of people.
Is Hutch mad at Ryan yet? Now? No, I don't think he's mad. He said he respects him a lot.
That's a lot of people. A lot of people are like that. Politics is complex, very complex. It's because it's not just about politics. Politics, if you're going to get into analysis or if you want to position yourself to have an informed opinion on current events, you need to learn history. That's an essential part of it. And
Lord.
history is very dense. You can study history for your entire life and you won't even know 0.0001% of the things that you could know. And it's daunting. It's extremely daunting.
Spare me the
When
speeches.
you don't even know where to start. You're like, okay, I see there's a lot of conversations happening, a lot of really strong opinions. I'm curious about this. Where do I start? You know, do you start at the Revolutionary War? Do you start, during like the 60s, the Civil Rights Movement? Or do you start,
Nice.
do you start during the Reagan era? You know, like it's just so daunting. And you kind of have to be a bit of a psychopath. Like all of us, we're kind of like psychopaths. You know what I mean? We're all kind of like masochists. You have to be a bit like masochistic to want to consume political content every day. You could be spending this time like hanging out with your family, learning botany, learning a new language, volunteering at a soup kitchen, watching your favorite show. But instead, you spend day after day, or we spend day after day, swimming in a pool of chaos and vitriol. We do it every fucking day. So, like, I assume everybody in here, you know, like, there's the phrase, you gotta want it. Like, I assume everybody in here wants, like, likes that. There's something about that that you like, you know, that you're attracted to. But most people are not like this. Most people are not like us. Which isn't to say that we're better than them. In fact, it's probably the opposite. They're probably better people than me. They're probably, like, better spouses and children and, you know.
I feel like I didn't need to hear this, but okay.
Siblings. I talked to my therapist about it, bro. I'm sure so many people talk to their therapist about politics now. I'm sure it comes up so much.
But these are the normies, right? Normies still go to therapy. They do go to therapy, right?
But all that to say, most people are not like that. Most people do not find this stuff attractive or engaging or interesting. They find it repulsive. They are literally repulsed by it. And I think having the attitude that food shops has is, for lack of a better phrase here, like the wrong attitude. Like, I don't think we should look at people who are relatively engaged to one degree or another and be hyper judgmental of them, because that's just not what they're looking for in their human experience. You
know? Oh, that's fucked up.
You know, there's a lot of people that focus on their families and their communities and their jobs and their church and their whatever. And they're just not really into politics. And that doesn't mean that you can't be upset with people's sort of like complacency or apathy. That doesn't mean that it shouldn't ever like upset you. But I don't know. For me, I don't judge those people like basically at all. You know, if there's somebody out there that's like not paying attention whatsoever because they got their own shit going on, I just don't judge those people anymore. Because yeah, politics, exactly, Bree. They're stressful. And especially if you don't like conflict, why would you willingly choose to engage in a practice?
I don't think it's the act of, how do I phrase this? I don't think it's that people don't like conflict. It's that people don't know how to deal with the conflict. I think that is what's going on. Okay. Yeah. Because I don't think it's that people like want to have an aversion to conflict. It's that people who have an aversion to conflict typically are people who understand that they don't know how to handle conflict. Like maybe their personality isn't very compatible with conflict, and that's why they turn away from conflict. Okay? But I think that if you learn how to deal with conflict, or you're in a position where you're forced to deal with conflict, I think that you will acclimate to a new environment where there is just simply more conflict. And I think that this aversion to engaging in conflict is also the same aversion that will lead people down the road of not voting. Yeah, because politics is conflict. Yeah, politics isn't inherently about conflict, right? So this aversion to conflict shouldn't be viewed as some kind of, oh, if you just have this trait, it's okay. No, it's not okay. It's not okay. It shows that you don't know how to emotionally, mentally handle the presence of conflict, right? You desire non-confrontation. You probably don't tell your partner about the issues you have. You're probably not open about the emotional struggles you have with your friends. You probably don't want to talk to anybody else about the problems you have in your life. It's a very male-coded thing, I think, to avoid conflict like that, but also a very female-coded thing. It's like an everyone issue, I think.
That constantly foments conflict. The real Joe Decky has a 25 stream streak and says, I am definitely a masochist. Yeah. We're not normal people. Do you guys understand this? We are not normal people. Normal people don't do this. Normal people are happier.
No, they're not. I don't know why there is this perception here that normal people are happier. I can guarantee you that's not the case. The normal person is the person doom scrolling on TikTok and making comments about how much they want a partner, but they're not able to get a partner. The normal person is the same person who's scrolling through YouTube shorts, getting distracted at work, and then getting yelled at by their boss, okay? The normal person is somebody who is still ruminating about their ex-girlfriend or boyfriend, and they're still stalking their ex-boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, and they can't move on from them. That's the normal person. They are not happy, all right? They are not happy people either, okay? This perception that the normal person is happy is a delusion that is born out of self-deprecation of terminally online people like us, okay? We delude ourselves into thinking that normal people are happier. But I don't even know if that's really the case, okay? I just don't know.
Politics JK, thank you so much for the tier 1 membership. Appreciate it, buddy. Over under 1.5 hours if we finish this video. We're not gonna watch the whole video. We're probably only going to tune in just for a little bit longer.
You know, there's all sorts of reasons that people are undecided voters, and almost none of them have to do with being the kind of moderate that people think about in like elite discourse.
Yeah, they're moderately retarded.
I know precious
Yeah.
few.
This is okay. Listen, they're young. They're young. Food chops, I'm guessing, what,
All right.
24 years old, 25 years old?
I'm 26, thank you.
They'll grow out of this.
People. I know
I hope I never grow out of this, okay? I want to say right now, okay? I hope I never grow out of this. I've been like this for... I've been like this for 26 years now.
precious few people who, you know,
I was thinking back, wait, when did I start being like this crazy? And I'm like, oh, my whole life.
actually are, you know, they've looked at both sides and they have come to have some sort of moderate synthesis on the issues. I know
Yeah.
precious few people that are like that. Most people who think about politics
Did this motherfucker really just say it's just a phase with a 26-year-old woman? Yeah, I'm not kidding. Yes, he just said that. He just said that I need to grow up. He told a 26-year-old to grow up. Okay. This is something you say to a 16-year-old.
a lot can pretty easily be sorted into a basically liberal or
Were you more shy before transitioning? Hell no. No, I was the same. I was the exact same. Like my personality was the exact same. That has not changed. It's just that the information I've learned has changed, right? And I've learned to I've learned mental skills from talking to therapists and like going through endless therapy sessions. But my core personality, the way that I act in social scenarios, the way that I act when I'm talking to people, or the way that I act when I teach other people, they're all the same. This is all the same, okay? The part of myself that's very bombastic and edgy, that's still the same. That's happened before Destiny, okay? Yeah.
basically conservative camp. That's just
Okay.
a fact
Yeah.
of American politics.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think there's more gradients. I think there's more gradients these days.
It was funny, but he has a point. That's fine, okay? I know that I have Hutch fans among my viewers who will always agree with Hutch more than me, okay? So whatever he says, like he can say like, oh, I think it's more ethical for Democrats to smear poop on themselves in order to appeal to the Republicans. And then John Smith's basement will still say, I think he has a point.
I would be more specific about things.
Undecided voters, for the most
Destiny never grew out of it. No, I don't think that's true. I feel like if you ask, is that true?
Careful.
No, I don't know. Do you think he really judges harshly people who don't consume a lot of politics because it's very divisive? I don't know. Maybe on his bad days, but
part are ideologically incoherent. And the problem with thinking of them as one group is by appealing to one part of ideological voters, of undecided voters, you might be making another part of them mad because these two groups of undecided voters don't necessarily agree. And so I guess to bring it back to your original question of what we do about
J Pluska with 3 years in a row, actually. Sorry, 43 total. Oh no, both of these people on screen frequently make my brain sad. Ryan makes your brain sad? What the fuck? Why would he make you sad?
these people, that sounds vaguely
How hairy is your nose? Very. Very. But I use a nose trimmer and I just like, I cut that shit off. Like,
Oh shit.
It's gone, bro. There's no hair in there. But I feel like that's not. Is that not good to like totally
How do you deal with
trim
this?
away all your nose hairs? Isn't that not good? But they're itchy. You say that the hairs are good, but they're itchy. It filters air. It filters particles. Hang on. Is it bad to totally trim all of the hair in your nose? I guess it would be hairs.
The person was saying Hutch makes them sad. Hutch does make me sad.
Yes, it's not a good idea to totally trim all your nose hairs, but light trimming is fine and recommended. Why nose hairs matter? Nose hairs, or vibrissae, are part of your body's fine first-line defense system. They help filter dust, pollen, smoke, and pollution, trap bacteria and viruses before they reach your lungs, reduce irritation from dry air, and protect delicate nasal tissue. What can happen if you remove them completely? Increased allergies or irritation, more frequent colds or sinus infections. I got like two colds in December.
Wow.
December and November.
Give me that shit.
Oh boy. Did I do
I
this to
forgot
myself?
my nose hairs too. What? What'd you say?
Dryness, itching, or burning. Higher risk of
What?
infected ingrown hairs or folliculitis. Rare but serious infections if the skin inside the nose is damaged. What's safe and said? Trim only the visible hairs that stick out. Use a rounded tip nose trimmer. Trim, don't shave or wax. Leave a short layer of hair inside for protection. Okay. All right. This changes things. Okay. You know what I bought recently, guys? You know what I bought? There are these things that you put in your nose at night, and they open up
My
your nasal
fingers?
passage.
Oh. Why am I being okay? All right, that's what. What are you doing? Fuck. I don't. Why am I being told this? Whatever. Cool. Good memes.